What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Hour, usually here with Jason Harper. He is currently out of town. This is Keep It Current, a real estate show for realtors. Super excited to be here today. I do have a special guest. I'm not going to do this alone today. That's just not my style. My guest, his name is Blake Brintz. He's actually on my team. He's an incredible agent, a certified mentor, which I'm really impressed about. He has a lot of agents that he mentors. Tons of people in our organization that he's just really helped to move the needle in their business, get them off to the right start. So we are going to be talking about 5.5 things. The half is a bonus. You'll find out. We're going to talk about 5.5 things that you really need to do as a brand new agent in order to crush it in 2021. What's going on, buddy?
Another day. How are you?
Another day. I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited about having you as a guest on the show today. I think going over some of the notes that we were going over earlier, I think there's going to be some good nuggets in here, and I'm really hoping, maybe not right now, but at least in the replays, that there's some new agents out there that can really appreciate some of the things we're about to share. I think on the onset, though, I think it's probably important for us to mention that the things we're going to talk about are not necessarily a step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way to step 5, right? I mean, these are things that we're going to suggest that are really important to do to kickstart your career, but it's definitely not something, they all play together, right? There's a synergy with these 5 things. And so you'll see as we unfold these and we start peeling the onion on some of these things that they're very attainable, very easy to do, and they make a lot of sense. Some of them seem like, well, no duh, I need to do that if I'm a new agent. But some of the things might be a real aha moment. And again, they all kind of work together. So what do you say we just jump right into or is there anything you wanted to comment on before we jump into the list?
I just think they all work interchangeably. And it's something that you build a foundation on, and it helps your business grow. And it's one of those things where you can't stop doing it just because business is taking off.
That's right. Yeah, these are the things that are important to do when you're first starting off, but they're also important to keep doing. And because, there's really there's no coasting in this business, right? I mean, there's certain things you can automate, but there really is not a whole lot of coasting. You got to constantly be working at it. And that's kind of the big difference between guys that are just absolutely crushing it, like you and other agents that I know, and people that seem like they struggle all the time, is that they just they go at it real hard at first, and then they kind of get maybe one in escrow, and they just sort of fade back into the woodwork, and then they go at it hard again. So these are all things that I think will be things that people can learn, and also a reminder that things, that you need to continue to do. So let's just jump right into the first one. I'd say number 1, you cannot be a secret agent. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that was something I struggled with early on, is I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want people knowing what I was doing, or I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Sometimes I feel like, hey, I don't want to post all these closings or post social proof, because I don't want to make it look like I'm putting things in people's faces of, hey, look at what I'm doing and what you're not doing. But at the end of the day, not being a secret agent, letting people know, hey, I am in real estate. This is what I do. It's my full-time job. I'm not just someone that goes and shows houses once a week or once a month. No, this is what I do day in and day out. It's important because you need to let everybody know what you're about and what you're doing, and that's going to help you prospect.
So let's talk about some of those things that you and I have done, and that we sort of preach on a regular. If you're not going to be a secret agent, the best way to get out there and reveal yourself is to set up your social accounts immediately. So if you're taking notes, or if you want these notes when we're all done here, I can send them to you too. But you got to set up your social accounts immediately. We're talking about your Facebook personal, creating a Facebook business page, converting your Instagram to a business account so you can start, tracking and measuring. So you can start even putting some ads out there if you want to let, to let the world know what you do. LinkedIn. I mean, these are all social media things, but LinkedIn, make sure that your profile is up and running, or maybe you don't have one. Start a LinkedIn, get it up and going. There is Google My Business. Get dialed in with Google My Business so that people can search you and find you and get a quick snapshot of what you do. And then you can message your friends, message your family. You can do that through, Facebook, Instagram. Let everyone know that you're in real estate, you're full time, you're excited to help them or anyone they know with their real estate needs, and just assume, have an assumptive approach with all of it. That hey, you're already a rock star agent. Go out there and let everyone know what you do. A little bit of fake it till you make it, but you have to be top of mind. Everyone has to know that you sell real estate in order to do that. What do you think about YouTube and video?
You have to video. You have to do it, whether you like it or not. I don't like video, and I know I've gone in phases of doing it here and there.
Yeah.
But when I do it and I'm consistent on it, the feedback I get is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's important, like Bryan said, you have to have accounts on all those platforms because your demographic's going to change. I get a lot more response from friends and family through Instagram, but I have a lot more response from people might not know through Facebook and LinkedIn. Yeah. LinkedIn, I have a lot more business connections. So it's very important to kind of be on all of them. But you have to video. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you should, seriously think about getting one, at least as a spot to hold all your videos.
So here's a question probably new agents are going to ask then. If I am going to start a YouTube channel and I'm a new agent, like what the heck? What am I going to talk about? I'm a new agent. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So
great question, because that's what a lot of people are thinking. And that's one of the things about being a secret agent. Agents never feel like they have enough knowledge or experience to go out and start talking about it, posting about it. If you're going and touring model homes, you can snap a photo, do a quick little video. Man, I'm at this amazing KB home. Check out this kitchen island. What do you think about it? All you're doing is engaging, letting people know that you're not sitting on the couch. They want social proof that you're actually out there. You don't even have to be with clients. You can go tour homes and start asking, hey, do you guys like this style or that style? It's all about getting interaction, get people excited and knowing that you are in real estate.
Right. You can do market updates. You can get data from the MLS and do a quick market update. Yep. Hey, this many homes sold in Southwest Riverside County this month. The average days on market is this. This is up or down from last month. You can give a quick snapshot of what the market's doing. I mean, that shows that you're in it. That shows that you're doing it. That shows that you have knowledge. But really what's happening is it's keeping your face in front of people. And you think, okay, well, geez, if I'm going to start a YouTube channel, then dang, I'm not going to have any followers. I'm not going to be able to do, no one's going to hear my message. Well, maybe at first, yeah. But you can take that video and you can share it on Facebook, on Instagram, different places that you can leverage that video that's out there. And also you can meta tag that video as well to make sure that more people see it. But the point is getting your face out there, not being a secret agent, definitely working really hard from the very beginning to really spread the word. And I think one of the things that will give you content when you're doing that is number 2. So you can see how all these work together. If you're a new agent, you have got to study the market. Blake, why do you think that's so important to study the market if you're a real estate agent?
Well, it's going to give people confidence in you. We're living a day and age where anybody can get information at the touch of their fingertips. You ask Siri, Google, we have all these other sites that everybody's an expert in everything.
Yeah.
But you studying the market and knowing exactly what's going on day in and day out is going to give you the upper hand always. And knowing what's going on in the areas that you are, selling in, or you want to be selling in. I have my area, my valley set up on a hot sheet. So I know every morning, and I check it every morning around noon, and I check it in the evening on how many new listings there are. So I can pay attention and watch patterns. So when buyers call and say, hey, what's going on in the market? I'm not coming up with a bullshit answer. I'm telling them exact truth. And they might call on a property on 123 Main Street that they really wanted to buy. Well, it's gone. Well, good thing I checked the MLS this morning and there's a new listing right around the corner that has very similar attributes. If I didn't know that, I would have to start all over and look for them. It makes you sound like an expert.
Yeah. When you are studying the market and you are diving into your MLS and you know what's active, what's pending, what's closed, what's back on the market, you know what's expired, right?
Yeah,
You
100%.
know what the average days on market is. You know, maybe you want to go dive a little deeper and figure out what the absorption rate is in your neighborhood or where you're selling. Even something as simple as what's the average price per square foot right now compared to how it was before. You have knowledge. So at first we're talking about don't be a secret agent, and even with video, get a message out there. Studying the market is having good content. You become an expert at this, and it's so natural to just think, gosh, these are some great stats I'm learning every day.
Well, and the best part of it, and I think the biggest thing about it is when you're talking to buyers and they're getting priced out and they don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you know what the days on market, the absorption rate are, and the median sales price in those neighborhoods, you can offer them, hey, we might be able to find this house in a different community, in a different neighborhood. But if you have no idea, then it's a shot in the dark.
You're You're a much better buyer's agent when you know the market too.
100%. It gives you direction to give your clients, and it's showing that you're working hard for them, not just sending them a bunch of properties and saying, which ones do you want to see today? You're actually being proactive, saying, look, I found this house on 123 Banana Street. It's a little bit out of the neighborhood you've been looking at, but from what we've seen, it checks all your boxes. I think we need to take a look at it.
Exactly. Very good point. Very good point. Okay, let's talk about number 3. This one, again, these aren't in order because the way I run my business, the way you run your business probably could be number 1, right? So
100%.
important. When you're a new agent, though, you have to tap into your sphere of influence, and you have to have a contact management system to make sure that you are dripping on those contacts in a way and have a cadence to that delivery that you are just constantly top of mind. And we could do an entire show on how to set up the best drip campaigns and what to say, what not to say, what the cadence of that should be. We won't dive into that right now. We'll just assume that you're going to have it. You're going to figure out what your sphere of influence is, and we'll talk about how to do that in a second. But then creating campaigns to make sure that you're always touching those people, and the message is just simple, it's clear. It's the things that you learned back here at number 2, which is studying the market, being an expert. There's things that you can do to reach out to your sphere of influence and just let them know, here's what's going on in the market. There's so many things you can do to expand your footprint with a good CRM and a good sphere of influence. So, Blake, what are some ways that, if you're a new agent, what is a sphere of influence? What does that mean? That sounds like jargon, right? That's shop talk. What does that mean?
It's pretty much anybody you know. So it can be your kid's teacher. It could be the parents on your daughter's soccer team. It's anybody you come in contact with.
Yeah.
Someone just hung a door at my house a couple weeks ago. Well, we got into talking about real estate. Next thing you know, he left with one of my business cards. Why? Because they say, hey, what are you doing? What do you do for work? And I'm able to explain to him what's going on in the market. You build rapport and trust. He's not buying a house today, but there's a point in time where he might. And you add those people to your database, to your sphere of influence. Yep. And I think, Bryan, you'll agree with this. Over the last year, during all the COVID stuff, more people were online looking at buying houses, selling their house, things like that. And it goes for anybody. And the agents who really succeeded are ones that are always staying in contact and staying top of mind. It doesn't have to be right in your face, hey, come buy a house for me today. That doesn't work. Yeah. Because it's not, buying a house takes time. You're not going to the store and buying a gallon of milk. But if you're constantly being passive, saying, hey, how are you doing? How's the family going? How's that house? Do you guys need to expand? Or were you interested in what's going on in the market? You slowly just drip on them with little blogs here and there about what's going on. People appreciate it.
They do.
It makes them stay in tune.
They do.
If all of a sudden, the market takes off and you let them know, hey, Joe and Susie, I know you guys bought your house 3 years ago. You're sitting on a pretty decent amount of equity now. How's everything going? And a lot of times you'll be surprised. They might be thinking of downsizing.
Yeah.
And if you never reached out, they might just go on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, or drive around, find some other agent to represent them. But if you stay top of mind and have a solid foundation in your CRM, your business is endless.
It's incredible. It is incredible how much you can grow your business if you just work your CRM. I have something that I got from my coach years ago. It's called a memory jogger. And if you want a copy of the memory jogger, it's actually, I wish I could show it here, but it's hard to share PDFs on this platform. But go ahead and just shoot me an email, and my email's on the screen there. If you want, I'll give you a PDF printout of what this thing looks like. But it's basically like 150 points of it basically breaks it down to who's your dog sitter, who's your grocery guy, your barber, your hairstylist, your nails, your pool guy, the car detailer, different waitresses, waiters. If you go to bars on a regular basis, who are the people that they know you know them. They're not anyone you've done business with, but they're people that are in your influence and they're in your sphere.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny, you talked about barbershop. I move barbershops that kind of go into our next one, or one of our other ones that's closer to my farm.
Yeah.
Right. And now when I walk in, the first time I walked in, nobody knew who I was. Now when I walk in, Blake, how's the market? What's going on?
Yep.
They know who I am. That is branching out and being present in the area.
Yeah. So let's go back to this one for just a quick second. Number 2, again, these aren't in order, but studying the market. So if you're top of mind and people are always reaching out to you and wanting to talk to you and ask you, hey, how's the market? Can you see why, if you take time to study the market every day, why that's so important?
100%.
Because my gosh, you're ready to say, well, you're asking me how the market is. Well, let me ask you, depends. Are you an investor? Are you a first-time buyer? Are you wanting to sell and get out of California? There's all kinds of different aspects of the market, and we can talk about that because I'm an expert, right? So I think as a new agent, and especially because you have more time to study the market as a new agent, you need to study the market. It will help you immensely. It'll give you good content for all the other things, and it will help you really understand and be more of an authority. So
and I challenge everybody to, if you're a new agent, comp out properties. You got to learn. You got to do one a day. Find a random house, run comps on it, and see if the house is listed at the price you'd pick. So when you do have a buyer that's interested on that house, if it's $50,000 overpriced, you've already done the homework. Oh yeah, that's going to help sharpen your tools.
Which is why number 4 is so important, because if you're not time blocking your day and sticking to a routine as a new agent, you're just going to be miserable. Do not embrace the free time. You got to be not okay with a bunch of free time. So fill it up with things that will help you move the needle in your business. Things like, schedule time to be out on Facebook and networking, on Instagram. I know one of the things that you said that I thought was hilarious at first, but it works so well for you and your personality, is take time to go to farmers markets, with a purpose, right? Purpose-driven routines to get your name out there. Wear your name badge, right? It's okay. Go to the grocery store. Take time, time block certain times to do certain events and be out there, and put it in your calendar and make it count, right? What are some other things that you've done in your time blocking?
Well, I try and have something early on, especially that said, 1, 2, 3 Realty, whatever your company was. Anytime I went, if I went to the park, I'm wearing something that says I'm in real estate, because I want the people there to know what I do. Yeah. Because it's conversation. That's how you build your database. But time blocking was huge for me. Like Bryan said, don't embrace free time. Early on, it was crazy. But one of the best things that I did was going to the farmers markets and just interacting with people, because people are going to ask you, it's natural, what's going on in the market? Well, I had already studied the market. So I already knew on Wednesdays I was going to the market, the farmer's market, to go meet with people.
Yeah.
And I can tell them about the real estate market. Are they going to buy today, tomorrow? I don't know. But it was me practicing talking to people, getting out my, unique selling proposition, my elevator speech, and letting them know, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And you're building some sort of rapport. Start exchanging business cards. They might call you, they might not. But when the phone does ring with a live buyer or seller on the phone, you've already done the practice. And the other thing that's, really important about having a routine is you got to stick to it. And Bryan and I were talking, like, early on, one of the biggest things I did is I role played every morning. You get a role playing partner and you role play. Then you get into your next hour of power where you're making all your phone calls and you're reaching out to people. And then you go out to new builds and you figure out tax area, tax bases, and HOAs. Because when people ask, hey, what new homes are out there? You already know, hey, there's a new Pulte community that's in the second phase. Well, how do you know? I was there last week. Susie and John are amazing. Let's get you over there. Let's get you registered, so on and so forth. But if you don't put in the work, it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, and your time blocking will change too. As when you first start off, at first you're setting aside time throughout the day to do some of these things you're talking about, to just kind of get out there and get your sphere of influence together. Maybe it's at first it's spending literally 2 hours a day going through those memory joggers, adding people to your database, making sure they're being dripped on. And for the next half hour of the day, it's calling, 5 people to just say, hey, touch base with them. Hey, this is Bryan Hour. I don't know, we haven't really talked on the phone before, but you've been doing my pool for years, and I just wanted to let you know I'm selling real estate. And and we could talk scripts too on that kind of stuff, but it's just getting the word out there, making time, space banking and time blocking to make sure that you stay in a routine so that you can start getting really, really successful. What's really cool is once you get into a place where you're starting to have a lot of business and close a lot of deals, then your time blocking becomes even more important. It does evolve and it changes, and pretty soon it's going to be like following up on my past clients, because now you have past clients. It's not just sphere and family and those kind of things. Now it's, well, I'm going to put these advertising dollars and start doing some Facebook ads or some YouTube ads or what have you. And you're going to need to start doing those things on a routine so things don't slip through the cracks. So time blocking could actually be number 1 in this list of 5, right?
And it's always changing, like you said. And I know early on, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, when I wanted to work in my business. Tuesdays and Thursdays I work on my business. So all the Facebook stuff. And I would schedule posts for the entire week. Yeah. But you have to plan it. If you don't plan it, it's never going to get done.
Exactly.
But today, 4.5, 5 years later, my time blocking routine is completely different than it was back then.
Yeah. Very true. I love it. Okay. Number 5. I think we're just blasting right through this list. This is how we want these shows to be anyway. Let's just get out and do it. Identify a geo farm. This is something that was really important to you to be on this list. Identify a geo farm as soon as possible and be the expert in that farm. We're talking about something that new agents are going to be listening to, whether it's on the podcast or watching this live or even on YouTube. What the heck is a geo farm?
Geo farm is a geographical farm or a neighborhood that you are identifying and saying, this is where I want to put my flag, and I want everybody in this neighborhood to know exactly who I am.
That's right.
There's a lot of strategies on picking a farm, which, we can kind of have a whole nother day for that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the importance of having a geo farm is huge, because instead of having a bunch of free time, you can be in your farm working. And it's not necessarily just the houses in that area. Like I mentioned, I go to a barbershop that's close to my farm because there's people that go to that same barbershop.
And they live in your farm.
Correct. And I go to the same grocery store because everybody in my farm goes to that grocery store. You eat at the same restaurants. You want your face, everybody to know who you are, whether that's a good thing or not. It goes back to point 1, not being a secret agent.
Yep.
And, Bryan and I were talking about a couple different strategies that people are using, and I'm seeing and I'm doing. Most communities now have some sort of Facebook group. Well, if your farm has a Facebook group, you better be in it, and you want to be interacting. You want people to know who you are. If they don't, you might be the one who creates it.
That's right.
The other thing you can do is create a real estate page specifically for your farm and give market updates. Hey, in the last week, there's 3 new listings. 4 went pending, and the average day on market is 5 days.
Yeah.
So it keeps them engaged. So whenever they say, hey, I'm thinking about selling, or my cousin is thinking about buying, who are they going to think of? The person they see every single time they log into Facebook.
Yep. Exactly. I love that idea. When you think about identifying an area where you want to market, and hopefully it's because you can't say, all right, I'm a real estate agent, I'm now going to focus on these 20,000 homes over here. It's overwhelming. It's too big. I do know rock star agents that are closing 500 properties a year that actually have 20,000 people in their farm. And it's multiple farms, and it's just a huge conglomerate. But when you're starting out, I mean, it has to be something that is tangible. So I would strongly recommend that farm not be any bigger than about 2,000, because you'll never be able to, it's overwhelming. You'll never be able to hit it. So when you're identifying that geographical farm where and people like us can help you do this. Actually, I would invite you that if you would like help on how to pick a farm, email me. There are some specific strategies to identify a really hot farm or a really cold farm. And so just because you live in a certain neighborhood doesn't mean that's a good farm. Sometimes you got to stay out of your neighborhood because there's not enough turnover. So, it really depends. And there's things I would love to help you do. And you can reach out to Blake as well. But identifying that farm and then hitting that farm with your message, becoming the expert in that farm, used to be door knocking. I had to knock on the door. I had to put flyers everywhere. I got to put 4th of July flags in my face, everyone, just annoy the heck out of my neighbors. And now it's actually, in some ways, it's easier because you've got social media, and everyone, and I mean everyone, is on some form of social media. Some people hate Facebook, but they're on Instagram all day. Some people are like, I never do Instagram, but they're on Facebook all day. And it's just, some people are just all about Twitter. They're all about LinkedIn. But if you use those platforms to your advantage, and you just are constantly putting a message out across all those platforms, and you are perhaps even creating, like you suggested, a private Facebook group that's just your neighborhood, that can be a very powerful thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's a great way of hitting your farm. So identifying that nice and early, very, very important. So before we get into the fifth, it's 5.4. We're not going to call it the sixth thing because it's just a little suggestion. I want to do 2 things. I want to run down what we just talked about in case people are taking notes. It's don't be a secret agent. You definitely want to study the market and be an expert. You absolutely need to tap into your sphere of influence. And if you need a memory jogger for that, please reach out to me because I can help you build a huge database of your sphere, even if you're brand new and think you have no clients. Time block your day, stick to the routine. Definitely identify your geo farm early. And for the bonus round, we're going to suggest perhaps joining a team. Now, I'm a team leader. I make that very clear. This is not a pitch to join my team. But there are a lot of great teams out there, even in our valley. And depending on how you came into real estate, a lot of times, you might have been maybe it was suggested to you to get into real estate by a team leader, right? And maybe it's time to reach out to that person and say, hey, what would it be like to be on your team? Blake, what are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I think early on, joining a team is definitely a good idea but it's got to be the right team. It's got to be a good fit.
Oh yeah,
can't
for sure.
Go to any team.
Yep.
Because like Bryan mentioned earlier, I mentor a lot of new agents that come to our brokerage. And what happens is a lot of those newer agents they feel like they're drowning. They don't have enough support, not enough help. And, we have a strict curriculum that they go through and everything like that helps them build a foundation.
Yep.
But they're not getting the same opportunities as other agents that might be on a team. So being on a team is going to help get you, more at bats, if you will. You could be the best baseball player in the world, but if you're sitting on the bench and don't have the opportunities, no one's going to get to see it. So getting those opportunities, and one of the biggest things about people's regrets or even picking a brokerage, they get hung up on the commission. Oh, I'm going to this broker because my commission's going to be this, that. I don't want to join a team because my commission.
That's Brian, the number one pushback of joining a team. It's like, I don't want to give up more commission. If I join a team, I'm like, I got to give up, 50 or 60%, or most teams are at 50-50. It's like, I'm not joining a team. I'm not giving up 50% of my commission. Really? It was you, Blake. I quote you all the time on this. I literally, and I give you credit every time I do. I'm sure you're not the one that said it, but I give you credit.
I got it from Mark Cuban.
Oh, you did? Mark Cuban? Okay. Yeah. Well, I got it from you. When you're hungry, guys, when you're hungry and you're just starting out, 50% of a watermelon is way better than 100% of a grape.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get so much more out of it if it's for you, right? Not being on a team is not for everyone, but I'll tell you, quoting Kyle Whissel, actually, you don't want to have this conversation with my friend Kyle Whissel, because he'll tell you you're absolutely crazy if you don't join a team. You're new in business, join a team, get over yourself. And he's got an incredible team, by the way. But
it's all about being plugged in. And even if you're not on a team and you're trying to figure out, you can email either of us. We'll give you the pros and cons, or go over your pros and cons. But the one thing, there's so much content out there, you have to be plugged in. If you're not masterminding with people that are going to push you and help you grow, you're going to get complacent and get stuck.
Yep.
And I know for us, our growth over the last year has been incredible. And it's because we went out and took a leap and went somewhere else that really forced us to grow. Yep. And it was the best decision that I've made.
Definitely for me too. I mean, as a team leader, I can tell you that I've had a bird's eye view. I've been able to watch agents like Blake and actually everyone that's on our team, and people that have gone on and moved out of the area and maybe are on different teams, but just seeing them go from absolutely knowing nothing to just really embracing the culture of a good team. And then all of a sudden they just start to really just come into their own. And I think it just gives a lot of confidence when you know that you're on a team where, I can always get, questions answered. I'm going to get good leads. Cause I could say right now, one of the biggest fears of being in this industry or getting into this is, where am I going to get my business? Where am I going to get business? Well, a good team has already developed so many systems to bring a constant flow of leads. I am not exaggerating when I say our team is probably generating at least 20 leads per day, maybe even more. It's about 300 across all channels. It's about 300 leads per month. 300 leads per month.
It might be more than that.
Well, I'm trying to be very conservative. I think there's some days it's more than that, but or some months it's more than that. But I track and measure everything, which is what you should do as a team leader. And I can't even believe the amount of leads that are just flowing. And so, when you join a team, you can actually, appreciate that. Another really good team leader is Jason, who again can't be here today. That's why we have this amazing guest. Jason's team's crushing it. He's providing so much culture and so much, so many tools for his tribe that they're just all doing very, very well. So, not saying it's for everyone. Definitely not saying that you can't be successful if you're on your own. You can employ all of the things that we're talking about as a new agent and do pretty well. But we wanted to throw that bonus out there.
Yeah, it'll help you, in my opinion, to really help you get to where you want to go quicker. Yeah. It helps speed up the process.
Oh yeah,
because you're getting the at bats. So you're going to get more information, more experience, more knowledge, all of that stuff quicker, and get you closer to where you want to be.
Exactly.
Faster.
Very cool. Well, that's pretty much all we have, you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this live on Facebook. If you missed it live, that's okay. You're going to catch it on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It really helps us. You know what to do. Smash the like. Definitely, you got to hit that bell too, right? I'm pretty sure there's a bell you got to hit to make sure that you are notified when we go and do these shows. We're really enjoying doing these, and the response has been absolutely unbelievable. The emails and the texts and the messages we're getting through Facebook, just the culture of excellence that's going on here. It's just really, really fun. And you might even check us out on our podcast. So anywhere that you like to listen to your podcasts, we are definitely out there. And this is all just something that's fun. And the best part of it is it's free, right?
Yeah.
Well, cool. Hopefully, I don't think Jason's going to be back next week either. So I might have to get another special guest. Who's that going to be? We will catch you on the next one.